The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.
Hello and welcome to another Soccer to the Max weekend edition as we are finished with MLS for the weekend. Only 4 games to talk about. NWSL had games, one that just ended about 30 minutes ago, and wow, that just happened. And yeah, so we'll talk about that as well. The Galaxy signed a French defender. And that's kind of all we got to talk about. Short weekend. Maybe we'll preview the U.S. and Honduras game as well. I forgot to watch that damn Honduras, and I knew I forgot to do something today. Watch the Honduras Trinidad and Tobago game. But
Don't. You're not alone. It's still sitting on my DVR. Whoops.
I'll try to get to it before the game on Tuesday. But thankfully, the best part of this show is that we have the wonderful Rachael McKriger back.
I'm back, folks.
Always making our show better when she is here. What's been going on, Rachael?
Drowning in college, that's what's going on.
Is it a good drowning in college, or?
I have a senior capstone/thesis class, and I genuinely don't know what to do for it. So we'll figure it out. I have a whole semester to procrastinate.
That's always great. Just make sure you like 2 weeks before.
Get there when I get there.
Yeah. But,
that's how I made it. That's how I made it through the first 2 years. So might as well.
Right? Yeah. Procrastination can also help you. Gets those juices of desperation flowing when you need them. But Erik, I mean, our friend, our pal from the Chicago Fire, Bastian Schweinsteiger.
Ha!
He was important in helping get the Chicago Fire some point. Their first 3 points in almost a month. They did not win for the entire month of August. And a red card shown to Mr. Boulder that clips him with studs showing on the shin, having to get the medical out there. They had to use video review because from the first angles they showed, it really didn't look like much. Then the front angle showed him using those studs in the shin. And then, what do you know? Bastian Schweinsteiger again is on the end of the goal to put him up 1-0. And that's all she wrote. Chicago holds on after Mr. Piatti almost gets on the end of one. But you know what? Matt Polster came back from injury and held him for a long while. So credit to Matt Polster on that one. But hey, Chicago, you think this is what gets them back into it, Erik?
I really do. Even with the fact that they kind of needed that red card as a boost to finally create more offensive chances, especially with Bastian Schweinsteiger. Unison, I'm loving it. But especially with him, as you say, being on the end of the goal, being at the right place in the box, this isn't just 3 points. This is 3 points on the road. I know for a team like with the way the Fire started the season, it really doesn't matter, but you couldn't ask for a better result and a better situation heading into the last 8-9 matches of the season.
Yeah, they've been much better at home. Obviously, they've been doing great until this month where they had a little mini slump. And like you said, they were kind of still in that slump a bit until the red card happened. Good use of the video review there. I appreciate that, as we've had some weeks where the video review has not done its job. But let's be fair, Montreal was without some very key pieces, namely Zamiley, who actually scored for his squad in international play, but not having Simon, not having Petit either. Those are big deals. And for Montreal to hold them down to 1-0, even going down to 10 men, they should be given some credit. But now they've lost 2 in a row after going on a bit of a streak. So those playoff chances taking a hit there.
But the thing is, just like how Chicago needed this win, Montreal, you don't want to lose, but at the same time, you know you're getting your star players back. It's not like they're crashing underneath the red line. They're still kind of holding afloat, but you do need at least a draw or something in your next match to say, okay, we're at least treading water through the rest of this international break.
They do still have a game in hand, but the big deal is that Atlanta has about 2 or 3 games in hand at this point, and they have about 8 home games left.
Oh. So. Now, and correct me if I'm wrong, but those home games, they're going to be in Mercedes-Benz Stadium, right?
Yes, I think once the stadium was supposed to open, they were supposed to start playing there, but we'll see.
Well, I would hope so, because guess what? Bobby Dodd's going to kind of get used for something else these next couple of months.
Yeah, and did you see that stadium from Saturday? Watching the college football game on Saturday? Man, that is a thing of beauty.
It's a thing of beauty, and between that and seeing the Falcons preseason games, that stadium's bright, bro.
Yeah, I love the way that they have the thing shut into the Mercedes symbol or whatever. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's like a camera lens. And if you're an Atlanta United fan, you get to reap the benefits of having Chick-fil-A in the stadium. Falcons, not so much.
It all comes down to Chick-fil-A in the end. That's what's important here.
Have you seen their new hash brown bowl? That thing is a thing of...
Oh, God, I wish we had a Chick-fil-A by us, man. I love that place.
I can attest to that because last semester, my school opened up a Chick-fil-A, and it was like God's gift to California, Pennsylvania.
I can imagine. I loved having Chick-fil-A, but sadly here, where I live, we do not have that anywhere close to me. Such good stuff. Not always good for you, but good stuff. Erik, what the hell happened? Orlando just getting thrashed. Embarrassing, I would say. Losing to New England.
And you know what really pissed me off? Number 1, how do you give up 4 goals to New England? Number 2, how do you let Kei Kamara get a hat trick? Number 3, how do you go so long, at the very least, down 1-0, in contention, and then he realized, hey, wait a minute, how do we forget to play the formation? How do we forget defense? What does these words mean? Ugh.
Is it time to hit the panic button for the Lions? Because if you think about it, they really weren't missing many players to international duty.
No. Hitting the panic button is one thing. Taking a hammer, not just one of those regular hammers, but like the carnival-style hammers, where you go ahead, you test your strength and try to hit the bell. I'm taking one of those and smashing the panic button repeatedly to the point where parts are flying all over the place. That is how I feel right now.
Yeah, there was if you want to try to find highlights for Orlando, there was one. The entire game, there was one, maybe 2. This was New England not only scoring goals, which again, most of them didn't come until around later. Lee Win did have one disallowed correctly by video review, so the other use of video review was well done, as Lee Win and Tua Bunbury were both offside. I do have a bone to pick, though, with the condensed games. MLS Live. The point of a condensed game is so that we get everything by watching the condensed game. Don't cut off the video review part. I don't know what happened there. I have to go onto your stupid not the website stupid, but I have to go onto your website and watch the full video review thing to understand what happened, because you cut it off halfway through. I didn't know that the goal got disallowed, and I didn't know that Boulder was getting the red card pulled back, because he does the video thing, and then all of a sudden, oh, they're down to 10 men. What happened in between? You got to show me what happened there. Come on.
Well, I'm looking at like the stat now too, and it says here that Dom Dwyer played the full 90, and he only had 20 touches, completed one pass, and only had one shot. Like,
he did nothing.
So basically,
how can you do all of that at Sporting Kansas City and then go to Orlando and just be a total flop?
Oh, different system, different coach, and the fact that, he's got all this, and the traded and this and that, and the Gold Cup, and God only knows.
Again, why is Rivas playing up front?
Give you a hero's welcome at the airport and everything, and you be pay us back with this?
Why is Rivas playing up front again?
I couldn't even understand that. Jason, you and I gotta sit and talk, okay? Something ain't working right about now, and it's a lot of things.
Jason, you're about to get the Don Garber talk.
Uh-oh. You don't want the Don talk.
He's lucky his name has 2 syllables, otherwise he would have had that talk by now.
Oh, Kaká did have some moments, but that was about it. Like, there really wasn't anything positive to say about Orlando. Give credit to New England. 95, 96 goal? Kei Kamara was almost at that 100 goal mark.
I want to give credit to New England. They're New England.
Well, you had to give them credit for winning, and Lee Win tying the most assists in one game record, which that's amazing in of itself.
Of course, when you're wide open and you're able to serve them up on a plate like that, kudos to Kamara, kudos to Lee Nguyen, but seriously, just no. I refuse to. No, I do not accept this. I'm not going to accept this. Jason, we've got some problems here, man.
That defense for Orlando just looked really bad.
Maybe we just need to scrap and rebuild the whole team in the offseason.
Guys not moving over. Guys being caught out of position all the time. But they were lucky it wasn't more. That's all I gotta say.
Into New England. Why couldn't they even have been to a better team?
To be fair, New England plays much better at home. They still have not won on the road, by the way.
Yeah, okay, and they play much better at home. Ooh, is it because the Patriots are playing and now Robert Kraft has his attention on things? Ooh.
I don't know, but they're 9-2-2 at home, and they're 0-10-3 on the road. So home cooking seems to work.
Yeah, more like a home bonfire.
Tom Brady probably like rubs his ass on like their seats or like their soccer balls before they play. That's probably what it is.
And I swear, if he does with him and those Ugg boots, I will take the next thing smoking to Foxborough. Have your bail money ready, because it ain't gonna be pretty.
Boston's probably about. I don't even know how far away that is from Pittsburgh. I got your back.
Yeah. You know, the other team has not won on the road, they continue to be winless on the road, and that's the Colorado Rapids, who were wearing Eric's favorite shirt and lost again.
No, like an NBA player that trades teams. Take them off, burn them. No, they're done. Done.
Hold on,
done,
this is the guy
done.
that said they were great. I want to point that out. Rachel and I said these things look awful, and you're going, oh man, I could dig this Romania color, all this. Like,
And again,
when's the last time Romania was relevant? I just want to point that.
Hey, they had a good run to the World Cup in '94.
94.
Then.
And weren't they also like in the race or at the Euros last year?
Erik, I'm gonna take your example and say I wasn't even born during that time.
Man, I feel old.
Well, you and I both.
I
were
was 8. Yeah. But yeah, Colorado, they looked bad here. They
Water's
looked
wet.
really disorganized. Absolutely just bad defense. Zach McMath, what are you doing? What are you doing, sir? I get that you cannot touch the ball because it's a back pass, but why would you put your head basically headbutting the guy in the stomach and causing a penalty? Then he looks at the ref like, oh, I didn't do anything.
Exactly. He's like, what did I do? There was a bunch of us.
Come on. You knocked him over. It was one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. Like, I mean, I don't know that. I mean, I guess you missed Tim Howard in that moment, but it's just, God, that was boneheaded. And then the goal by Boateng, Hairston just stands there. Boateng shoots it under his foot, or under his legs, under the goalkeeper's legs, and he scores, and then Harrison's sitting there having a tantrum because he can't believe that he didn't step up to him. I don't know. Step up to him the first time. Just,
But hey, it was Gyasi Zardes' birthday yesterday, and he had a goal and an assist.
He scored, yeah. The first time he scored in 174 minutes or something? So, the man was due. And if he wants to keep his job with the Galaxy, he might want to score some more goals because, Zlatan might be coming.
Yeah, but you can't play against Colorado every week, though. Let's be real here.
I mean, but honestly, if you're Zardes or the Galaxy or whatever, he needs to do more. You've got these games, and sorry, it was 374 days since he scored a goal. Apologize.
So a little over a year, and you finally get to the point to where you're finally in the right position, you're finally getting a good lead-up play, you finally get the ball, and you finally score. Fantastic. It's nowhere near enough. Especially because, let's face it, it's not just Zlatan potentially coming, if not to Galaxy, then to maybe to LAFC. You always have to take that into account now. But the fact that Galaxy is under a lot of heat right now. This season is a little bit of a lost year. Not acceptable. You got Ziggy Schmid still trying to figure things out, wondering how long he can keep things going, especially when next season rolls around.
How long he can keep his job, too.
This is my point. There's a lot
I think he's still there, even if they don't make the playoffs. They had to know that making the playoffs was going to be a very slim chance at that point.
True, but if you're making the playoffs is one thing, but if you're not at least making progress going into 2018, no.
Hold on, wait. I just want to point this out. You're saying that the Galaxy need to make progress going to 2018, but DC United can go and lose all their games, and you don't care.
Yes. I am well aware of what I said. You are exactly right.
I just want to point this out. Hold on. So why did the Galaxy make progress but not DC United?
Because odds are Ziggy Schmidt will actually, be fired. Whereas Ben, oh no, we got a new stadium. Oh, I'm going to be safe. Oh, I'm going to do all of this.
How do you know that Ben won't just suffer the Jeff Fisher, where he lasts that 1 year in the new stadium and he gets tossed?
No, I don't even want him to last that year in the new stadium. But I know DC
He's
United
not getting fired. I'm just saying he's not.
Furthering my argument, because I know he won't get fired. If I knew that he was going to get fired, I would actually tell them, hey, you may want to go out there and help save his job. But knowing his job's secure, knowing they're leaving RFK, knowing they're getting a bright, shiny stadium and all this and that, knowing that they've been a steaming pile this point of the season, I got to the point to where it doesn't even matter. For the Galaxy, things still matter.
I'm pretty sure for them, they feel like it does matter, though. I'm just saying. I'm sure that... Look, they're on 28 points right now.
Thanks to a winning streak that started with a god-awful back pass.
Okay, hey, that's all you need sometimes, is a god-awful back pass, and they could be catching Orlando next week, the way Orlando's been playing.
Oh, no, don't, no. You do not dare utter those words. I am already mad enough. I do not want to think. No.
I'm just saying, look, right now, let's say that, Philly, New England, and Orlando all lose, and DC wins. They're within a point of New England and being in 8th.
Rachel, help me here. I'm about to get in my car. I mean, it's only a few hours drive. Come on, talk me off the ledge.
Which ledge am I talking you off of? Blowing up the new shiny stadium so they can stay in RFK, or...
You know what?
Oh, God.
I hadn't thought about that before.
Uh-oh.
Erik, do you want to be in jail forever? Is that...
Oh, please. They wouldn't put you in jail forever for that. Just a little arson never killed nobody. Well, maybe a few people, but
I mean, if he did enough to take down that entire stadium to where it would delay them for 2 years,
then I would want a trophy.
I do have connections that would help to lessen the sentence a little bit.
Okay, we do not condone whatever Erik decides to do in his mind. I just want to point that out.
Speak for yourself. Erik, off the air, I want to hear where this is going.
Okay, because I got some stories, and people. That's all I'm saying.
Well, when you know that next week why Erik is not here, you can wonder what might have happened. That's all I'm going to say.
It probably wouldn't be next week. It would maybe be the week after, unless someone decides to create a GoFundMe and helps get me the money to get up to DC. Then it's a completely different story.
I mean, okay. But just because you create a GoFundMe doesn't mean people are actually going to, fund it.
If I spin the right story and talk to the right people, it can happen.
Maybe Ben Olsen would give you some money.
I'm pretty sure he wants the stadium to be there so that he gets to keep his job. So
good point.
If he gives me the money and the stadium mysteriously disappears, I would root for him to keep his job.
Okay, so now that we've had the weekly let's get Erik riled up about DC United, I get to sort of be happy about FC Dallas coming back twice to draw with Red Bulls after losing a man down to a red card that was rightly deserved. Ja'Cory Hayes coming in basically two-footed and knocking down a player, gets his red card. Sasha Kleshin with a wonderful goal. Can't take anything away from him on that. And
Question's getting his mojo back. Watch
Bradley
out.
Wright Phillips with a nice little assist. I will say, Pavel Pardo, why are you on commentary? He can hardly speak English. Just why? That's all I'm
I
going to say.
mean, catering to the market? I don't know.
I get it that like they're really good at finding people and then getting them to learn English or getting them to learn Spanish the other way or whatever. I appreciate that Univision tries, but he was really kind of hard to understand at times. The guy that does the English commentary probably knows better Spanish than he knows English. But anyway, Oscar Pareja had these guys fighting. Give the team a lot of credit, and Nangrana coming out of nowhere for that goal was really nice. And yeah, just I like the fact that they didn't give up here. They were in a slump. They fought back and got the point. Would have been nice to get 3 points. They still haven't gotten 3 points in about, what is it, 8 games now, which is crazy.
Something along those lines. And again, that I mentioned about teams treading water. FC Dallas isn't.
You never know. They could go next week and just lose. I'm happy about this, but I will say good job on holding off on keeping Barrios and Arruti because they were really important in this game. They've been
It's
important
one of
for the
those
team.
situations.
Go ahead.
Yeah, and I mean, and it's one of those situations to where now, when it comes to games, you're getting into upper 20s, and you're just flat out running out of time. You can't blame the weather. You can't blame this. You can't blame that. You got to look inward and say, hey, we want to be in the playoffs. We've got to flip whatever switch we can.
Yeah, very true. Just got lucky on the penalty being the thing that gets you the second goal. But hey, sometimes you need a little bit of luck, and that's what Dallas got here. Hopefully this turns into something good for them, but we'll see. There's only one MLS game on Wednesday when we do our show, NYCFC and Sporting, and the big man for NYCFC, David Villa, got to get his 98th cap coming in the 89th minute in the Spain 3-0 win over Italy. From what I gathered, from everything I was reading, Italy didn't really care about that game because they knew that they were not going to win on goal difference.
No, in Spain, they've had 2 great goals in the first half to really
Isco had those goals were ridiculous.
I still just wish that even with guys like Isco, Spain would just stop even thinking about the false 9. It's annoying.
Hey, it worked. So
I don't care if it worked. I still have a grudge dating back to 2010. But grudge aside, I don't like it.
I like that you have your grudge, but you can't deny that it works. So why should they stop doing something that works?
Because you could do something that works even better. I mean, great. I can have an awesome burger. Fantastic. It works. It's delicious. But I could also have filet mignon if the opportunity arises.
Sometimes it's too much of a good thing, Erik.
I'm not saying all the time. I mean, yes, you don't want to pull a Diego Maradona having a steak and a cigar and all of this liquor every night. The next thing you know, you're in the hospital. But I'm just saying, it's okay to upgrade at the very least occasionally. Win. Play beautiful, great. Don't just win and crush teams while putting people to sleep. Is that too much to ask?
Wait, why were they putting you to sleep? They scored goals.
They did score goals this time, but that doesn't always happen. This was one of those exceptions to the rule.
Okay. I'm still saying that they are doing things that work, but Again, hey, you know what? Italy kind of tried to go for it in this game. They're playing like a 4-2-4 and all that, but still nice that David Villa got his 98th calf. He is going to go back to the NYCFC camp because he suffered an adductor strain, so that's not good. Don't know if he'll play Wednesday or not, but NYCFC could use him.
Currently listing him as doubtful.
That's not good. They need him against Sporting KC, who no Dom Dwyer has been no problem for them. Whereas Orlando wishes that Dom Dwyer did something for them.
I don't know. Maybe one of these teams needs to try the X formation just to spice things up.
Oh, here we go with this X formation again.
Look, I mean, at this point, why not? Why not now?
I'm scared.
Erik plays this, was it top 11?
Yes. Which somebody hasn't accepted my invite, by the way.
Oh, you know how I need to go find it? You know how massive my Facebook notifications are? I don't see about.
That's why you type in and you search top 11. Plain and simple. I'll even invite you again.
Fair enough. I still want to know what you're doing here. College football. Are you trying to tell me that there's a new college football video game happening with this commercial?
Yes.
What's going on? So, anyway, the last thing we got to talk about before we get to NWSL, the Galaxy did sign French defender Michael Ciani. He's 33 years old, basically replacing Gilles Van Damme, who went back to Belgium because of family issues. He's played for Lorient in France. He's coming from Espanyol in Spain. He made over 200 appearances for Lorient and Bordeaux. He's been in Champions League and Europa League before. So, nice find, Siggy Smith.
Yeah, it's a good find, and especially with the Champions League and Europa League experience, but still playing very regularly for some primarily mid-table clubs in the Big Five leagues with this good move. See, this is why I say, do things like this, keep things going. Galaxy, this is how you do things. United, this is how you should have done this 3 months ago.
You know what? At least Erik is consistent. I'm going to say.
If Ben all of a sudden decides they really want to shoot the moon and try out the X formation, all would be forgiven instantaneously. Just that one thing. That's all he has to do.
Well, you could certainly say that Alex Morgan has been the X factor for her team since coming back. 8 goals, 3 assists for the Pride this season. And she had some big news. Rachel.
She's back. She's not going to be playing for Lyon in France. She is going to just stick with the Pride next season. And I mean, hey, that opens up I think that opens up doors for, potential other transactions, cough, a certain Sydney Leroux may be coming. I mean, that would make that even more enticing to have them together for a whole year.
What do you say, Erik?
I like the level of commitment. I think it's a big plus, not just for star power, but as you had mentioned with the statistics, Sean, very big in attack. I'm just not going to roll out the welcome wagon for Sydney Leroux if she arrives, because we did that with Dom Dwyer, and look at how that's going. Maybe if we make it more low-key, Sydney Leroux will actually continue her ways.
Well, hey, Orlando winning big again for another week, 4-2 over.
Yeah, it was their 5th in a row, and I mean, Rachael Hill just kind of came out of nowhere, scored the first 2 goals in the 8th and 15th minutes. I mean, just not the first. You look at the Pride's roster and you don't look at Rachael Hill and think, oh, yeah, maybe she'll get a brace in this game. It's not the first person you'll think of. Marta got on the score sheet as well as, I'm not pronouncing her name again. It is so tough to pronounce. Chomana?
You're the pronounced guy.
I'd have to see it spelled one more time.
I got you. I'm already on it. I'm sending it to you, buddy.
Okay, yeah, if you send me the message here.
Ubagagu. Yeah, whatever.
Sent.
Ubogagu.
Ubo? Ubogagu.
Ubo, yes.
Ubogagu.
There you go, see?
Yeah.
I don't have to call her Lady Scrabble. That's easy.
But Vaco is not.
No, it's not Vaco, because that is just a convenient little cop-out. I'm sorry, if you have like a Q and a Z both in your name, that's Scrabble.
He scored for Georgia.
Yes, he scored what turned out to be the tying goal. Fantastic play against Ireland in qualifying.
The scourge of Ireland.
Yeah, so that was just that's why I was like, hey, Scrabble scored. Now, granted, the fact that I heard his name enough, I could pronounce it easier now, but he'll always be Scrabble to me.
Yeah, Orlando hasn't lost since July 22nd. They are 5-0-1, and they're now tied for third with Chicago in those standings there. So
they're looking like a pretty good playoff team.
At least one Orlando team is. Jason.
You get 1 out of 2 ain't bad.
Yay.
You know, North Carolina clinched the playoff spot on the 30th, and then they go and lose to the Red Stars, Rachel.
Well, maybe that's the magic of the Morgan Bryan trade. And Morgan Bryan went to the Red Stars this week. Christy Mewis is down in Houston. I'm still perplexed by that, but hey, do what you must. But yeah, it was definitely an entertaining game. I mean, you watch this game and you see that, but easily North Carolina's still, in my opinion, the best team right now in the NWSL. They have the perfect mixture of defense and attack, and their goalkeeper. I don't think she gets much love. I think it was Caitlin Rowland that started in this match. Sometimes it was Caitlin Rowland. Sometimes Sabrina D'Angelo has appeared for them this year. But, I mean, I don't think she gets enough credit. People will look at, the popular players like Steph LeBay and Adriana Franch, and both of them are both really great goalkeepers. But, Caitlin Rowland is making herself known, but in a small, underlying kind of way. But, she couldn't do it against Jolie Ertz and Yuki Nagasato. I mean, they just kind of overpowered her. And Morgan Bryan made her debut in the 64th minute.
Nice. Did she do much for the team in this game?
Not much. She had a couple, passes here and there, but she wasn't really dangerous at that point, Chicago was already up and just trying to play a more defensive game, and Morgan Bryan's more of a attacking midfielder. That's why Julie Johnston is a defensive midfielder. And having those two, two World Cup veterans on that same 2015 team, they were two of the youngest players on that team, and have them on the same team now, that midfield's going to look pretty dangerous.
Yeah, I think that's what they wanted to do in creating that trade, and probably putting Morgan Bryan on a contender as well helps in that regard. But speaking of contending, Kansas City is trying to do that on their, trying to make a run here. Sydney LaRue scores at the end, but this was a big blowout for Kansas City, 4-1 over Sky Blue.
Sydney Leroux might have scored, but my girl Shea Groom is giving Jill Ellis, my dear friend Jill, a reason to call her up for the national team. She had 2 goals, an assist in the match. I mean, she's been, aside from Becky Sauerbrunn, she has been the most consistent player this year for FC Kansas City, and that's actually saying a lot because they really haven't had, players step up. And to have, Shea Groom, she's not like a 4-year veteran. She's still a young player, but to see her step up like that, that gives Kansas City a lot of hope, and it also gives them hope for, maybe if we do lose Sydney Leroux, we're not entirely screwed in the attacking game.
Yeah, that's positive for them because it seems almost inevitable that she's going to leave to join her husband. So this is what you need if you're Kansas City. You need positive play from the rest of your forwards. And, hey, why not try to make a run of this and make the playoffs? So I'm guessing it's the top 4.
It's
get in.
top. Is it the top 4? Yeah, it's the top
4.
And speaking of blowouts on Lifetime, after Washington made a game of it against North Carolina, they go to Portland and get walloped 4-0.
They get walloped, and Portland clinches one of the spots in the NWSL playoffs. There's only 2 spots left now, and you have to think that Chicago and Orlando are going to get them, although Seattle could always squeak in there. But right now, it's looking like, I think the Pride will definitely get in, and I think it's going to be a battle between Seattle and the Red Stars. But, going back to the game, Nadia Nadim had an assist. She had a goal. Emily Sonnet, same difference. She had an assist and a goal. And Emily Sonnet, she's a center back, and that goal was her 3rd of the year so far. I think her last 2 were, it wasn't her 3rd in a row, but she went scoreless the last game. But the 2 games before that, she had a goal in each match. So she's been, she was quiet most of the year for Portland, but she's really bounced back, and she's really making a run for, being one of the top defenders in the league, not just in defending, but in attacking as well.
Well, and then you had Christine Sinclair get a milestone of becoming the 6th player in NWSL history to get her 30th goal. Scored 2 in this one to cap off all the scoring.
Yeah, and another thing about Washington is they didn't even start, Steph LeBay. They started Didi Harasek, I think her name is. She didn't, Steph LeBay, I don't even think she didn't even suit up. Kelsey Weiss was the backup for Didi. But, there's a big difference between Steph LeBay and Didi Harasek. Steph LeBay is a Canadian Olympic medalist goalkeeper. Putting someone else in net over her, not over her, because more than likely she's injured. I haven't read anything on it. But, that's tough.
Yeah, that is rough for them. And speaking of being tough, Houston has to play their game in Frisco because of the Hurricane Harvey. Our condolences out to all those people affected by the hurricanes there. But they lose by the slimmest of margins, 1-0, the first time this season that Seattle has won by that scoreline.
And I mean, out of all players to score, it was Merritt Mathias too. She has been branded as kind of like the villain in the NWSL. She racks up yellow cards left and right, and she always is trying to pick a fight with somebody. But she's the one that scored. She had a goal in the 50th minute, assisted by Beverly Yanez, and just what a time for her to score.
Hey, good a time as any sometimes. And just, Hey, Houston tried at the end, but Seattle's defense was much more up for it. I mean, the fact that for about 3 minutes of stoppage time, they couldn't get out of the corner. I mean, I think
Yeah.
you could tell they were missing Carly Lloyd here.
Yeah, and Seattle was missing Megan Rapinoe for a while, but she made her return tonight. She came on in the 78th minute for Merritt Mathias, and Megan Rapinoe, she's been so dominant this whole year. It's been her and Sam Kerr of Sky Blue FC neck and neck for the most goals of the year. Now Sam Kerr has kind of ran away with it, but man, Megan Rapinoe, she's just such a powerhouse, and she is just, with how long she's been with Seattle, she is certainly like the heart and soul of that team.
Yeah, and I mean, it shows just from the little time she was on. She almost scored. She was instrumental in making sure the ball stayed on that side of the field, just using that veteran presence. So, I mean, you could tell how key she is to that team. And speaking of being key, more good news for Roosevelt.
Yeah, Rose Lavelle made her return tonight. She's been missed by Boston, and you would think Boston would have had a better year with the talent that they have on their team. They really have a lot of talent. Jolie King, Angie Salem, Rose Lavelle, Adriana Leone, I don't think she gets enough credit. They have a lot of talent on their team, but Matt Beard's formation just is not working with them. And, maybe next year will be the year they fix it, but I was really hoping for more from Boston this year.
It's probably because that formation was sort of probably built around her, and then when she gets hurt, he kind of doesn't know what to do at that point. I don't know, that's what it seems like.
And I mean, Rose Lavelle isn't like the only really good rookie on their team. I've been impressed with Morgan Andrews for the whole year. She's had some really good games, and Margaret Purse, she's been really good for them as well.
So there's 3 weeks left.
2 more spots open.
And 2 spots open, which are being held by Orlando and Chicago, with a nice cushion between them and Sky Blues 29, and then to go further down. I mean, it definitely, like, Orlando plays Seattle next week. You have Sky Blue playing Washington. It's going to be one of these, squeaky bum times, I guess, for some of these, but I just don't see any way with the streak that Orlando's been on and how consistent Chicago's been that they lose these spots.
Yeah, I don't think so either. And honestly, I mean, if we're going to go even further than that, I think North Carolina's just going to win the whole thing. I think it's going to be, them and possibly Orlando in it, because, everyone wants to think that Portland has, they have talent, absolutely, but I don't think they're as invincible as everybody thinks. And I think if Orlando faces them, I think Orlando could give them a run for their money. I think North Carolina could give them a run for their money. Chicago's a bit iffy. I don't know if they could, but I don't know. I've been reading a lot of articles and people thinking Portland's going to win this whole thing. I don't know. I mean, North Carolina has just been so consistent with winning the whole year. That's why they're at the top.
Yeah, I mean, and Portland's done a good job of kind of sticking there as the number 2 for the most part.
And they're doing it without Tobin Heath, too.
Yeah, so I mean, that's kind of I guess why people feel like Portland's kind of just waiting in the wings to take it. But there's something to be said for being the defending champions and going into those playoffs and being ready to defend that crown. But yeah, it's going to be a tight little. I don't think it's going to take much. I mean, I think just if they get those wins this weekend, I think Chicago and Orlando will have it tied up pretty much. You'll just be waiting out those last 2 weekends of September. But yeah, I think that's going to do it for us here, unless we have anything else you want to touch on. Remember, of course, qualifying for everything ends on Tuesday. Of course, U.S. has that huge game that became much bigger than it should have been had they won in Costa Rica, but they did not. Or not in Costa Rica, but against Costa Rica. And now they go to Honduras, San Pedro Sula, and try to get the 3 points, which is going to be a hard ask when Honduras knows what they have at stake as well. So, yeah, time to bite those nails. We'll be back on Tuesday talking what's been going on in CONCACAF, break down that U.S.-Honduras game, break down the fight for first between Costa Rica and Mexico. Costa Rica will be able to, I think, even with a draw, they qualify. But for sure with the 3 points, they will be automatically qualified to the World Cup. And
I got to say something there real quick. I know a guy from Costa Rica, and he's making me do this because USA lost. So I have to say, good job, Costa Rica. That was for you, Mauricio. You can stop giving me shit now.
Hey, Costa Rica just completely outplayed the U.S. in that game. So
We were terrible.
I don't blame him at all for wanting to give you all kinds of shit. But, yeah, so important times for everything. Of course, we'll also be able to talk about what's going on in almost all the places because everybody ends it on Tuesday until we start again in that first week of October. But, all right, if you like what you heard here, hit that subscribe button on whatever podcatcher you choose, Soccer to the Max, or you can subscribe to our entire great network of podcasts that we have, the W2M network, and you can listen to Erik do his POV, point of viewer. You can, Erik also produces quite a few of these shows. A new show, The Kickoff, where he's also on with me for Football to the Max, but she will be back on Tuesday for our big season preview as the NFL begins on Thursday night with the Kansas City Chiefs and New England Patriots. And, of course, we'll be back right here Wednesday night talking NYCFC and Sporting KC as well after the Tuesday night as well. So make sure you listen 2 times a week and maybe even more when there's international stuff. But thank you for listening, everybody. For Rachel, for Erik, and myself, we'll see you later, everybody.
Exclamation! Peace!
The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.